One of the things that we noticed, Andy, is that the type of inventory that's being made available and the number of platforms that are making premium video inventory available to transact programmatically has drastically increased since Sling first came online in 2015. And we welcome that. We think that it's a great sign that the marketplace is seeking this sort of outlet. And what we're finding is there's a convergence of traditional digital platforms that have now moved into the video space and traditional video platforms, whether we're talking MVPDs or network or publishers themselves, moving into the video space that Sling has occupied since 2015. 60% of the transactions that we're doing today, Andy, are being done in a programmatic fashion. So there's still some direct IO business, but having two different platforms between Dish and Sling that are able to execute addressable, find audiences, and reach them in a targeted fashion, and then closing the loop on the back end, right? And what I mean by that is saying, with Dish and Sling, we have subscribers, and we've touted that since 2016. The difference is you can have viewers on a network or even in one of the free or freemium platforms. The difference is, though, is understanding who that consumer is and what that household makes up. So being able to target them is one thing, but being able to actually prove the efficacy of a campaign because we're able to close the loop. I'll give you an example. With addressable and on Dish and or Sling, we're able to reach auto intenders. And within that window of verification, right, if we're looking at a 60 or 90-day window, we're able to tell if somebody in that household actually went to a dealership and or if they actually transacted and bought a vehicle as a result of seeing the campaign. And because there's a holdout, we're not just looking in the larger ecosystem of what value did Dish or Sling contribute. We're able to see relative to the holdout, which is the target audience that didn't see our campaign specifically, how we saw a lift and the value of seeing that message as a Dish subscriber or a Sling subscriber relative to the rest of the marketplace. So, there is the IO business, and that primarily is how we're working directly with agency and agency holding companies. But by and large, a great portion of what we're doing is happening programmatically. And that's where the value of both DSP and SSP partners that have been in the space and shown a commitment to premium video and subscription-based platforms has really done well for us. So what we'll do is identify opportunities and the agency groups that are transacting programmatically, either on premium video or just if video is not a part of their offering today or a part of what they're seeking as part of their media mix, demonstrating the value of our premium video offering. And we'll understand which partners they choose to work with. We are agnostic in that regard, but we have identified a small number of DSP and SSP partners that we work with who have developed the platforms to make sure that there is a seamless and frictionless transaction between buyers and sellers. One of the things that is that, and what we see in the digital and programmatic space, is that being able to transact real time is important. Having dashboards and real time feedback is extremely important to understand the value of the media that you're buying and what's available, right? These decisions are being made in real time, and execution in real time and feedback in real time are all part of that cycle. So that's really where video has had to mature and evolve and really catch up to our digital partners in the marketplace. So the expectation is that you make your video inventory as digital as possible. And that's what when we built the Sling platform, we did it with building a truly digital video platform in mind.
Sean, I wanted to ask you about the current period around COVID and the dramatic changes in viewer habits. And of course, there's been a lot of changes in terms of the demand for inventory, and it's affected everyone in different ways. But in terms of shifting to CTV, in terms of the marketplace going more programmatic, can you say that the current situation has had an effect, and if so, how?
Absolutely. First thing is looking at consumer behavior. When consumers are hit in the pocket and we're looking at unemployment numbers that were record level just 2 months ago, consumers are going to have to make some tough decisions. And knowing that that sort of volatility exists in the subscription-based model or subscription-based marketplace, we launched Sling. And what we had to ensure was that we understood the needs of our consumers. So the first thing that we launched was Staying in Sling, which was an opportunity for non-subscribers to download the application and get connected to content immediately. So with the idea that they were first responders who may have had a traditional uh, MVPD subscription, but working 18, 20-hour shifts were unable to get their news content. And let's be frank, at the time, March, April, May, all of us were absolutely glued to the 24-hour news cycle. So we wanted to do our part, and so we launched Staying in Sling. Also understanding that there was going to be a longer tail economic impact, we wanted to make sure that we could maintain and grow our subscriber base as much as possible. So that helped in that front, converting the trial subscriptions into long-term subscriptions. And with Sling, you're on a 30-day cycle, right? There is no long-term contract. So giving that sort of flexibility to consumers allowed them to feel safe in committing to our service, but then we also had to show and prove that the service was something that you wanted to keep in long-term. Now, going to the marketplace from the advertising standpoint, we knew that our partners needed to find audience and needed to have flexibility in placement, right? So we saw a massive shift in upfront commitments, options were taken, and immediately there was the recognition that while they weren't looking for a commitment, agencies and advertisers wanted flexibility in placing ad dollars to reach audiences because there was still product to sell, right? Walmart and some of the big box stores proved that there was still massive demand while people were staying at home and trying to shelter in place. So programmatic video proved to be a great outlet for those ad dollars to secure what would be upfront GRPs. And Sling was definitely a beneficiary of that. And now that we're coming out and the country's starting to reopen, I think folks that had been previously adverse to trying OTT products or shifting significant amounts of budget to premium OTT inventory have found that it operates just as well as your traditional video. And it's the same thing as television inventory. It's just transacted in a different way. So it's really opened us up to a new slew of advertisers and agency partners who may have tried working with us on a trial basis, and some who are already committed. They just deepen that level of commitment. It's been a true windfall for us and for our partners. We're glad to do our part. We knew that the country was entering an unprecedented area of having to separate, stay at home, shelter in place, unemployment. You had all these things one after the other. And to be in a place where we could contribute to the idea of staying in home and being entertained while keeping safe. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, we saw a drastic shift in some viewing habits, whether it was news, right? We were entering a season where sports was going to be extremely popular and start to spike. It was March Madness. And all of a sudden you had advertisers that were committed to premium sports that did not have an outlet for that sort of premium inventory. And they found that on Sling. So it's been a tremendous opportunity for us to be able to serve our community, our subscribers, and our advertising partners.